Today, I'm going to tell you the astonishing tale of Sam, the boy who always shared his lunch. What happened next will shock you, as his simple gesture of generosity set off a chain of events that transformed not only his life, but the entire community around him. Sam was an ordinary boy in an ordinary town, yet he possessed a heart that shone brighter than most. Every day at Maplewood Elementary, while other kids traded snacks or boasted about their fancy lunches, Sam quietly opened his brown paper bag and shared what little he had. Whether it was a peanut butter sandwich, a couple of apple slices, or a homemade cookie, Sam's lunch was never meant for him alone. He believed that happiness grew when it was divided, and his genuine smile when offering a bite was as warm as a ray of sunshine. It wasn't that Sam had plenty. In fact, his family lived modestly. His mother worked long hours at the local diner, and his father, though dedicated, struggled to make ends meet. Yet, Sam never let his own scarcity dampen his spirit. He remembered his mother's gentle words every morning. Even if we have little, our love can be abundant. And so, when he noticed little Ellie sitting by herself at a lunch table, or saw Marcus glancing longingly at the treats in others' lunchboxes, he would always offer to share his own. Most of his classmates admired him secretly, though few openly admitted it. Some even teased him for being too nice, or for having stupid, small lunches. But Sam simply shrugged off the comments, his heart too full of purpose to be weighed down by the sneers of others. His kindness, after all, was not a calculated performance, but an honest expression of who he was. One crisp autumn day, something unusual began that would alter the course of Sam's life. As the lunch bell rang and kids flooded into the cafeteria, Sam reached into his bag to pull out his usual peanut butter sandwich and a couple of raisins. To his surprise, his bag was not filled with the familiar items he had prepared that morning. Instead, nestled among soft tissue paper was a neatly wrapped package, completely different from his simple fare. There was no note, no explanation, just an unfamiliar package that looked almost too extravagant for a boy who usually carried a modest lunch. Whispers spread like wildfire across the room as curious eyes darted between Sam and his mysterious package. "Maybe it's a prank," someone muttered. "Or maybe someone's trying to show off," another whispered. Even though a spark of doubt flickered within him, Sam's curiosity overcame any worry. Setting his package on the table, he carefully unwrapped it. Inside lay a gourmet sandwich with layers of roasted chicken, fresh lettuce, and a drizzle of honey mustard, accompanied by a small container of sparkling apple cider. Tucked beneath the meal was a folded piece of paper in elegant handwriting. As Sam read the note, his hands trembled slightly. It read, "Dear Sam, your simple act of sharing has not gone unnoticed. In a world often clouded by selfishness, you have lit a beacon of hope and kindness. Please enjoy this meal as a token of gratitude for the warmth you spread. A friend." The note left Sam both puzzled and uplifted. Who could possibly have noticed his quiet generosity? And why shower him with such a luxurious meal? For a moment, uncertainty gripped him. Had someone deliberately orchestrated this? Was it an elaborate prank set up by one of the kids who mocked him? But deep in his heart, Sam felt that the note was sincere, a genuine acknowledgement of his good deeds. Over the next few days, more surprises followed. At first, it was a fancy fruit cup placed in his locker. Then, a handwritten card appeared on his desk with a short, heartfelt message thanking him for his kindness. The gifts grew in both substance and sentiment, leaving teachers and students alike murmuring about the mysterious benefactor. Sam tried to remain humble, still sharing his simple lunch every day, and always wondering about the identity behind these gestures. One rainy afternoon, as Sam sheltered under the awning outside the school, he noticed a man standing a few feet away, seemingly watching him with quiet admiration. The man was older, wearing a well-tailored coat and a soft smile that suggested hidden stories. Gathering his courage, Sam approached him. "Excuse me, sir," Sam began, his voice gentle yet trembling with anticipation. "Are you the one who's been leaving these gifts?" The man's eyes softened with recognition. "Yes, Sam," he replied warmly. "I've been watching you not as a stranger, but as someone who has a connection to you. My name is Richard, and I'm your Uncle Richard." For a moment, the patter of rain seemed to pause, and the world around Sam faded into silence. Uncle Richard explained that years ago, family circumstances had forced him to leave, a painful decision driven by secrets and hardships. He had long carried a heavy heart, missing out on the small joys of family life. When he heard stories of a kind-hearted boy in Maplewood Elementary who shared every bit of his lunch without a second thought, he couldn't believe it was his own nephew. He had observed Sam from afar, touched by his unwavering generosity even when life was not generous to him. Richard went on to reveal that he had made it his mission to support Sam quietly, hoping that the gifts would remind him that no act of kindness ever goes unnoticed. The extravagant lunches, the fruit cups, the thank you notes. They were all tokens of his admiration and a promise that the family bond was not broken, merely hidden away by painful circumstances. Richard's return was not only to reward Sam's kindness, but also to reconcile the rift that had separated them for so long. Tears welled up in Sam's eyes as he absorbed the revelation. All his life, he had assumed that his acts of sharing were just a way to make his own modest life bearable. Now he realized that his simple kindness had been recognized by someone who cared deeply, someone who had once been a part of his family and was determined to be part of it again. In the weeks that followed, Uncle Richard worked to mend the fractured ties between the family. He shared stories of Sam's father and the happy memories that had been buried under hardship. The community, too, became involved, inspired by the miraculous way kindness had bridged the gap between estranged family members. Teachers celebrated Sam's compassion, and even those who had once teased him began to appreciate the power of a giving heart. But perhaps the most shocking twist was yet to come. Inspired by his nephew's actions, Richard decided to establish a community program at Maplewood Elementary. The program, aptly named the Sharing Table, encouraged students to donate a little bit of what they had, be it food, time, or even just a kind word, to someone in need. What started as a small gesture quickly blossomed into a school-wide movement. Children who had once been indifferent to one another began to connect, learn, and grow together. The cafeteria, once a place of quiet routine, transformed into a hub of sharing and caring, where every lunch became a lesson in compassion. During the program's inaugural celebration, even the principal marveled at how a single act of sharing could create such a positive ripple effect. "Sam," she said in front of the entire school, "you remind us all that true wealth isn't measured by the size of our lunch or the cost of our treats. It's measured by the love we share with one another." The applause that followed was thunderous, and for a moment the entire room glowed with the warmth of a united community. Sam's journey taught everyone a profound lesson, that kindness, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, can spark extraordinary changes. His willingness to share his lunch not only fed hungry bellies, but also healed old wounds and built bridges where there had once been division. And though his life took an unexpected turn that day, a turn that brought him family, support, and a newfound sense of purpose, his heart remained as humble and generous as ever. So, next time you see someone offering a simple act of kindness, remember Sam's story, because sometimes the smallest gestures can lead to the most surprising, life-changing twists.